My name is Imogen Ross and I'm working on Kindertransport as the production designer, working very closely with our director Sandy Eldridge. I'm very analogue, so I tend to draw it all in my sketchbook. You can see my sketchbook here, full of notes and post-it notes and sketches. And that's sort of, in a way, I do everything by hand because I think while drawing. For me, the process was about reading it, doing what we call a script breakdown or a scenic breakdown, and it's where you analyse the play scene by scene for everything that you need to know about it, almost like a detective analysing a murder scene. Gosh, how many scenes? It's about 39 different scenes in Kindertransport, and they go from 1939 to 1985, back to 1939, but a different location. We go from Hamburg to Manchester. So I had to work out, in a way, the map through all these locations. That's the analytical part, but then as a designer you're also trying to respond intuitively to shapes and colours and objects. It's set in an attic, but it's really the attic of her mind, and in that attic of her mind she has stored every traumatic event that has ever happened to her, and as each trauma appears she puts it in a box behind her, and then another one, and then another one, and another one, and another one, until the attic of her mind is full of boxes. And I love the numerous metaphors that a cardboard box can create, and I find the colour of cardboard boxes really beautiful and warm. I love the notion of containment and what's inside a box. So for lots of reasons, boxes began to be my central metaphor for the play. And as you can see here in the model, I've got 4-metre high walls of boxes, and they take in the very intriguing Darlinghurst theatre space at the Eternity Playhouse. And so I need to make a book that is resonant of the 1930s. It's a book that comes from Germany and ends up in the attic. Sandy and I feel that the aesthetic of German expressionism post-World War I sums up the way that people felt about what was about to happen with the onset of World War II. And the artists of German expressionism were really exploring the horror that was meted out on everyone in Europe in World War I. Taking all of those images, and also some of the etchings of Kath Kollowitz, who detailed the suffering of the Jewish people after World War II, and I'm kind of trying to make my own amalgam of that. I'm using inks, I'm using a little bit of colour, and I'm consulting a lot of children's books from the 1930s. I had 40 magazines from 1958 to 1985 of German fashion magazines, and there is a very small theme of dressmaking and mothers making their children clothes. And so I found these German dress patterns, spanning 30 years. And what I loved about them, you can see one behind me here, is that all the patterns are overlaid one on top of the other. And for me that resonated with how the play was written. So a story like Kindertransport reminds us of what has happened before and what is possible, the acts of generosity, but also the acts of incredible cruelty. We must ask ourselves that as theatre makers every time we decide to put on a play for a contemporary audience. We need to sort of go, why are we telling this story? Why is it important that this story remains alive in the communal mind? I think we need to leave the theatre asking ourselves, would we open our doors? Have we opened our doors?